We are Popcorn, Piss, and Vinegar, giving you a raw take on movies, television, and pop culture. My name is Chris.
My name's Scott.
JB motherfucking 4 in the house.
All right, we got lots of news and lots of shit to talk about, so let's dive right in. David Duchovny confirms that The XFiles will return for an 11th season. There's also rumors that the show will trim down its mythology and move toward the standalone format seen through the show's first run.
I agree. Just give me the Amish fuck warlocks and the Peacock brothers.
Yep.
The original brother fuckers.
No, oh, yeah, right. Absolutely. That's awesome.
Before the Lannisters.
Yeah, if they bring back a third... what?
No, I'm just laughing at that joke.
Okay.
It's pretty funny.
Thanks.
Okay, you're sitting here going, wah, and I'm sorry. Did you drink too much last night? Or?
No, never.
Okay. All right, I know that you were in a non-smoking establishment. I mean, was that a did y'all have to, like, draw X's on your hands to go in that motherfucker and play, or what?
No.
Okay. He just, like, crouches over. He's like, wah!
Yeah.
Like a bearded old hobo. I'm thinking something's fucking wrong.
Yeah.
All right, well, so much for speed. Anyway, So the X-Files, dude, I agree. They better go to their standalone format because I don't even think Chris Carter knew how this show was supposed to end.
No.
The mythology was just so fucking convoluted when it got past that movie that they released.
They're the original what the fuck are we doing with this mythology for, which J.J. Abrams pretty much matched with Lost.
Stop it.
It's kind of like the underpants gnomes from South Park. They know what the beginning is.
Yes.
You know, they know the middle's a big question mark, and they kind of know what the end is. But,
Kinda.
you know, so that's really it.
Kinda.
All right, Hellboy creator Mike Mignola says that the reboot of his franchise is going toward an action horror theme instead of the fantasy theme established by Guillermo del Toro. The movie will be rated R, and Mignola thanks Deadpool and Logan to make those movies more accessible for the genre. Hellboy also announced its third member of the cast, Mila Jovovich, will portray the movie's main antagonist, the Blood Queen. She joins Ian McShane as Dr. Broom and David Harbour as Hellboy.
I'm getting more and more excited about this film.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
The more
fucking
they
A.
go.
I
don't.
Go ahead.
And, I was just gonna say, he needs to just stop comparing and whatever and distancing himself from the originals and just make the movie.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it's impossible not to do that because the original Hellboy movies, man, it's got a very big cult following. I mean, it may not have done huge box office numbers, but now the thing with it is you have to appeal to that cult.
I understand that. I just think he needs to just own it and go. Just make the movie. We're gonna go see it.
I mean, they're awesome films, but like Guillermo del Toro has actually ended up flaking on as many movies as he's made. You know, he came up with Pacific Rim and he left it. So I don't think it's, heresy to reboot Hellboy at this point.
Well, he actively tried to make a part 3, and the studio was like, "Nah, we're not interested," because the second one didn't do well at all.
Yeah.
Even though the second one is fucking good.
Yeah,
it's
it is.
really, really good.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful and expensive, and with technology being what it is now, I'm sure they'll be able to make as cool a movie.
Well, I like all the actors in this one. David Harbour, if you don't know, he plays Sheriff Coop on Stranger Things. Ian McShane, he's now on American Gods, but probably best known for his role as Al Swearingen on Deadwood, which
he was also in Hot Rod. He played the dad in Hot Rod.
Okay, so the stuff he's known for is Deadwood, which I've actually been rewatching and is a great show. I highly recommend it. If you're on Amazon Prime, you can stream all your episodes. So really fucking cool stuff. And Mila Jovovich, of course, that's Multipass. Chikon from The Fifth Element. So Lilu
and Resident Evil franchise.
Yeah.
Right. Which Fifth Element. So
I'll forgive her.
all right, Entertainment Weekly released new photos from The Last Jedi, giving us new shots of all the leads from The Force Awakens, a new alien race that are the custodians of the Jedi Temple on Octo, and a look at the Porgs, which are a species of animals that are indigenous to Octo. Some of the highlights from these interviews are Ryan Johnson saying that the Porgs were inspired by the puffin birds that are also that are indigenous to Skellen Michael Island that served as the location for Octo. He also reveals that a new alien race, who are being called the Caretakers, Featured in the photo are all-female order of priestesses that look after the Jedi Temple on Ahch-To, and they tolerate Luke Skywalker's presence there. Actress Laura Dern also said that her experience drove her to tears. She said that growing up watching Star Wars is one thing, to be in it and seeing the things you saw your whole life is pretty exciting.
Interestingly, there was a follow-up to that article in which Rian Johnson and Mark Hamill have both said that if you're a true fan, that you should probably avoid any further promotional materials, including the trailers. So they're like totally Team Scott.
Well, even though I love Star Wars deeply, and I'll go see all their movies, I'll watch all of their television shows, I'll buy a comic book or a novel or two if it's really interesting, I'm not really a true fan. So,
Apparently
as
not.
far as I'm concerned, I'll watch trailers and shit like that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, but as far as Camp Freelo is concerned, I think that, Scott, you should definitely send a resume to both Mark Hamill and Rian Johnson to see if you can land a job.
Oh, totally. He could just show up on all kinds of PR and be like, I have no idea. I refuse to watch
Oh,
it.
no. He's I
I'd be a
totally.
great- I'd be
Yeah,
a
right.
Great press secretary.
Exactly.
Not only do you not know, I don't even fucking
Exactly.
know. All right, being heralded as one of the new acclaimed and financial successes in the movie business, The Conjuring, which is moving toward a third installment, will be missing director James Wan. Wan said that Aquaman has absorbed his schedule for the next 18 months and returning is not likely.
I saw Annabelle this weekend.
Really? Was
Yep.
it good?
Yeah, it was
The second
solid.
movie, right? This is the second one.
The second Annabelle.
You saw
Well,
the
there's
second.
there's two Conjurings. There's a Conjuring and the Conjuring 2.
But there's two Annabelle movies
Correct.
also.
And there's two Annabelle movies. Okay, yeah. So it's the origin story. It's
Right.
Right.
It's just a bunch of boo scares. I mean, really, that's all it is. Just like,
Oh.
Did you jump, though?
oh yeah,
How was the story? Was it solid?
it was, yeah, like frozen
That means
Jello
no.
solid. Like it was solid enough, but I mean, I'll just tell you real quick. The way the girl dies is almost like I laughed.
Oh,
Her
really?
dad is her dad is
right.
changing a tire. There's an obvious oncoming car. The mom
Well, they
goes,
show that in the trailer.
yeah. The mom goes, oh, there's an oncoming car. A nut flies off, and the girl goes, I'll get it. Thunk. I mean, there's literally no nuance, or it's almost treated
But
like
was
a
it a
checkbox.
demon car?
No,
no.
no.
All right. Well, then
Anyway.
I don't care.
No, but the demon probably loosened the nut on the
There
tire.
you go.
Yeah,
That'll be
so-
in the director's cut.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Wonder Woman has now surpassed the domestic gross of Man of Steel, Dawn of Justice, and Suicide Squad with $400 million. The movie has a $794 million global box office take, standing in second place behind Dawn of Justice's $873 million.
Yeah.
I think that if there were some parts of the world that were more culturally progressive, I think that this movie would actually surpass Dawn of Justice. I really believe that.
But is it not going to?
How long is that film going to be in the theaters?
Yeah, how much longer? That's the thing. How much can it really like take $100 million more dollars? I mean, that's pretty.
I mean,
pretty
I also-
hardcore.
Domestically.
I also don't think that they promoted it as much as B versus S. You know, obviously in these regions that won't show it, but you know, good for them. You should be playing Killer Queen in this part. Actually, I think that would be appropriate.
I said, my buddy Nate, he's stationed in Bahrain. He told me, he said he had to go to an Allied Forces movie theater to like go see it. You know?
Oh, that's too bad. It's a great film.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the shit out of it.
Yeah, they weren't having that shit in the regular region of Bahrain, so there it is. All right, Donald Glover speaks on the Lego Guys firing on the Han Solo movie. He says Ron Howard is a legend with great vision. However, he's not sure he would have been Ron's first choice had Howard been the director from the beginning. He compares his knowledge of the firing of Lord and Miller like being a baby during a divorce. So he said he really doesn't know anything, you know.
Tough
But he's,
spot.
yeah, sure.
I bet you Ron Howard uses him again, though.
Oh,
Wicked talent, that guy.
I mean, and I don't think that you should read too much into what he's saying. I mean, that's a accurate statement, but Glover's on fire. He's a good actor, and I think he's going to be a fucking great Lando.
Side note, I saw an interesting little article about Dan Harmon talking about Community and the reason that Community just went down after. They said he attributes it to Donald Glover leaving the show.
Yeah.
So when Donald Glover left the show, he's like, that guy was just, he was a staple. He
Was.
he kept it together. He said a lot of that shit that he did was just improv and just on the spot funny stuff.
Sure. I mean, and I think that the jury's still out as far as Silicon Valley is concerned. T.J. Miller was a big guy
Yeah,
on
what
that
are they
show.
gonna do with that?
I don't know.
Get Donald Glover.
I know they. Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what they'll do. I mean, I haven't really watched every episode of Silicon Valley. I've seen like 2 or 3 of them, and they're very funny.
Yep.
But
I told a friend of mine because he's been wanting me to get on that show so much. I'm like, T.J. Miller left. He's like, oh, I'm not gonna watch anymore. I'm like, well, there you go.
Wow.
yeah, I mean, and that might be the consensus of a lot of people. So.
Yep.
I don't know. There might be something else. They might try to hire another kind of like comedic actor, to try to fill in the shoes with a different character. So
Yeah, you might.
we'll see what happens. Oh, it's Mike Judge, dude. Just put Beavis and Butthead on it. It'll work. All right. It's rumored that Sony is interested in casting Riz Ahmed, who played turncoat Imperial pilot Bodhi Rook in Rogue One. Sources say that he's wanted to play Carnage. So
Oh,
I know we're blazing through the news, so I guess we'll save this for another time because I'm sure it'll come up again. But
we got time.
I'm just curious. Do you think it could work? In other words, like if someone threw a shitload of money at you and said, "Try and come up with an idea for Venom and Carnage that doesn't involve Spider-Man," could you do it?
I guess it can be done.
I think it can. I mean, I'm not a fan of it, but it'd be neat if they pulled it off well enough that Marvel was like, okay, we'll keep them in the universe.
Since we're talking, I'm sorry, Scott. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No. I was just say it's like doing a Star Wars movie without any of the principal characters.
Well, I mean, but they've done that.
That's what I'm saying. They did Rogue One.
Yeah,
and
I mean
it
that.
worked.
Yeah,
So
they had a principle in it. But
To give it something
but,
with to give it something with comic book characters, this is something that reminds me of something that happened in the 90s. So when comic books exploded and the DC and Marvel companies decided that they wanted to exploit the market and sell every pile of bullshit that they can, they started selling little tchotchkes that went along with their comic books, either button sets or cards or something of that nature. Well, Topps, which is really popular for doing sports cards, baseball and football, they did a card set for DC that basically was like a file card for every character in their universe.
okay.
And it was a really nice set. It was cool. It kind of gave you information on their first appearance. It gave you kind of a synopsis history on the back of the card up to that point. Really cool shit. One small problem. Topps, I'm sorry, not Topps. Fleer had a deal with DC to produce a Batman card set for the Batman movie that came out in 1989. Since the language in those things didn't cross over, the Topps cards that told the history of all of DC, Batman could not be included in that set at all.
Wow.
Not even mentioned. And you're talking about a flagship character of their fucking comics line. So that's what this Spider-Man movie reminds me of. Can it be done? Yeah. But my question is, why?
Oh, well, that's always been my question.
I mean, they could dovetail it into, since the origins of Venom are so directly tied to Spider-Man's story, it's hard for me to think of Venom as not a spinoff, as an alien symbiote that just adopts a human, and then Carnage, and I don't know. But nothing's impossible, So I'll watch that with interest, but I'm still kind of cynical.
And who's to say that Spider-Man's not going to be in this movie?
That is true.
Yeah.
That is possible. I'm at Tom Hardy. I love Tom Hardy.
Me too.
And
That's why I'm giving it a chance. And Riz Ahmed is fucking great too.
He's a great actor, man. He's awesome. So, yeah, I mean, I'll give it a shot. I mean, just because of Tom Hardy. Now, if Tom Hardy jumps out of this project, I'm probably not going to go see it.
Bye-bye, right.
All right, Arnold Schwarzenegger reveals that Terminator 6 begins filming in March of 2018, and he'll start working on a Conan sequel shortly after. Arnold claims he'll be playing the man who serves as the human model for the Terminator T-800.
It's your favorite MacGuffin, magic blood or DNA blood.
This files directly under my interest in I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I'm not going to see any more Terminator movies. I'm done. I have no interest. I don't care. I have no hype. it's the same thing as Avatar. I'm just not interested.
It's James Cameron, though, man.
Hey, that's awesome. You know, I mean, that's fucking cool. I mean, if James Cameron, I'll go watch Aliens. I'll go watch True Lies. I'll go watch The Abyss. I'll go watch
The first two.
the first two Terminator movies, which he always said were the only things that ever counted.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a bunch of fucking nonsense.
Dirk.
All right, rumors of the Justice League reshoots come courtesy of Joe Morton, who will be playing Cyborg's father in Justice League. He says he heard that the Cyborg character was to be retooled and the movie's dark tone would be lightened. In a separate interview, Ben Affleck says he's having a great time and DC is hitting their stride. He never worked in a situation like Whedon taking over for Zack Snyder, but he's enjoyed working with both of them. Now, there's a separate report that came out yesterday morning saying that after Joss Whedon did these reshoots and did an initial cut, because remember, this movie comes out in 4 months,
Right.
they're rumored that this movie is unwatchable.
Oh my
I see.
That sort of
So that
sounds
was-
like
that was-
Bat versus Superman.
Yeah, so that was post Whedon. Because my
Yeah.
understanding was they had done a cut, and that it was unwatchable, which is why Whedon was brought in to begin with. That was my understanding, but they just have to, I guess, better blend the styles. I'm curious.
I'm of the same thing. Look, Wonder Woman seems like to me that Jeff Johns was directly involved, Patty Jenkins was directly involved, Zack Snyder was there, producer in name only, and this is a Zack Snyder fucking piece of shit. You know, Whedon's in there trying to polish a turd, basically.
I'm gonna say it like
I
this.
don't give a fuck about this movie. I'm
it's like
worried
when
about
you
what
get-
comes after.
It's like when you get your hey, I'm getting some construction done on my house. Well, while you got the walls down, why don't you add some Ethernet cables, or why don't you fix your lights? This is what I feel like. If you got the guy that's gonna come in and do whatever he's reshoots while he's there, if it's an unwatchable movie, just fix it and push the movie back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Make
fix it.
Make a watchable movie
Yeah.
instead of
Oh, it's
beating the date.
unwatchable. Well, you just paid fucking 2 guys to make a movie.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you paid them well.
Oh, dude, I
Fix the
guarantee
movie.
you. That thing probably had a $200 million budget in addition to $25 million
and
of
that's the other thing.
reshoots.
Look,
Yeah.
if you're already in a hole for the movie, just
Exactly.
fucking cough up the money and fix it.
That means that this movie has to do like $500 million domestically for it to be considered really a
If
profit.
they're making Wonder Woman a more
It
front
will.
and center character, I
will.
think that's an easily attainable sum right
I
now.
Yeah,
think
we'll
it'll make
see.
it regardless of what they do.
Yeah.
All right, last piece of news. Little bit here. The Russo brothers have announced that principal photography has begun on the 4th Avengers movie.
Yeah.
And they tweeted a photo of Thanos' hand, his gloved hand, but not the glove you're thinking about. It's just the purple
It's
glove.
just a purple glove.
So,
And somebody had said, well, maybe it's just his hand. Maybe he's just tweeting a picture of his own hand, and it's just cold where they're shooting.
yeah.
I was like, it could be anything.
Okay.
I mean, and also it's 4 fingers, so you could read into it and say, oh, maybe it's just showing that it's 4. you know?
Yeah, but I think it was a pretty big one that the Infinity Gauntlet wasn't actually shown. It's just his hand. I think there's something
this
to be
is like
read in there.
The
So,
Revenge of Thanos.
I think that Avengers 3 is probably going to be like Age of Ultron. It's going to be kind of
I
like a
don't
big
think so.
lineup thing. They're going to line up all the dominoes and get all of the teams meeting and working together, and they're going to kind of have like a mini quest, and then you're going to see part 4 be the all-out bananas shit,
Well,
you know?
I am guessing that really, because it's coming so close to the heels of Avengers 3, like it's Avengers 3 and then 4 a year later. So they kept saying, well, these are 2 totally separate Avengers movies in the PR, but I'm like,
They're not a year later. They're not a year after each other, are they? I thought it was
thought it
that,
was.
then Captain
Yeah,
Marvel.
they're a year after. They're Avengers is next year, and then right after that, 4 is in 19.
Yeah, I think it's like
Yeah, they're only a year
When's
apart.
Captain
spring and
Marvel?
winter.
Captain Marvel's in 19 also.
But it's before this film.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So I
Because
guess
I
the Scree or the Kroll are going to
Yeah.
show up in part 2.
So
or
that,
some
and
shit.
it's weird because they haven't been. I don't think they started shooting Captain Marvel yet. So they're doing these 2,
Yeah.
Right.
and then they got to go back and redo that. Oh, I say redo, but they got to go back and film that film.
They probably. I am assuming Captain Marvel is thoroughly scripted at this point.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
without
So I'm
question.
sure the
I just like that.
MacGuffins
I
are
like the
squarely-
secrecy. I actually like the secrecy
Yeah.
in this.
Team
don't
Russo,
know.
man. They
Yeah.
fucking.
Well, we're
they
going to
know how
really
do it.
see how all this shit pans out. It's going to be interesting because it's
I
going to be
can't wait.
awfully funny to watch Captain Marvel be the movie before Avengers 4, which it is.
Yes.
And they're going back in the 1990s to basically line you up for all the convenient bullshit
Right.
that's going to happen in
Right.
Avengers 4.
Can't wait.
So
I can't wait.
we'll see how
Yeah.
it all
It's
plays
the
out.
Russos, man. They're clockmakers.
That's it. You are listening to Popcorn, Piss, and Vinegar.
Television.
Movies.
Pop culture.
Keep up with the latest news from Luke Skywalker all the way to Batman.
From Netflix to the CW.
And all the news in between.
Please subscribe and rate us on iTunes.
Or stream our episodes from PPVGuys.com.
You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter at PPVGuys.
Check out our friends Not Real Radio at NotRealRadio.com for our segment Not Real Movie News.
Should you listen to more? Yes. Will you agree? Maybe.
Jury's out.
Indeed.
Thank you for listening.
And action. All right, talking about our show topic. The big bomb dropped on Thursday. Disney has come in and they have purchased BAMTech, which was developed for Major League Baseball to stream that. So we kind of know that's where it comes from, ESPN. But they bought 42% shares in BAMTech, which makes them the majority stockholder, for $1.58 billion. They did announce that in 2018, a streaming ESPN service is going to come out. I don't want to get too much into that because it's not the things that we talk about. But yeah, that is coming in 2018. They also announced that they are going to have a content-exclusive stream service in 2019. They will also produce some original content. When they made this announcement, Netflix, their stock dropped 5%.
Yeah, because the original announcement was that they're pulling out of Netflix.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
it was wording.
Well, that yeah, but I'm just saying this is why the stock dropped and all that, because they said we are going to do our own thing and pull out of Netflix.
Right. So
Just
before we
for
get like
clarification.
really into the deep here, I'm going to give you the last kind of like bullet point here, and then we'll start discussing.
Gotcha.
Netflix isn't expected to lose their original shows developed for Marvel. There's still no word what will happen with other Marvel or Star Wars related content. But Disney CEO Bob Iger said the direct studio properties such as Frozen 2 or upcoming Pixar properties will go directly to the Disney service. Iger also said that Disney will be producing its own original content specifically made for the channel, similar to Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon Prime. Word has it that Netflix has already begun talks with Disney regarding the Marvel and Star Wars stuff.
To keep it.
Yes. Official press release from Netflix. Whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of people, a lot of people that was industry, I mean, even me, I'm not industry of any. I'm just some asshole that sells paint and metairie and plays fucking cover songs in a rinky-dink rock band. But, I mean, I even thought that they were going to try to fatten the slaughter to buy Netflix. It kind of made the most sense. But then you look at it, Netflix even a couple of weeks ago comes out and says, well, yeah, look, we're worth $11 billion, but we're $20 billion in debt. And typically in those takeovers, you have to buy that debt. So Disney says, well, if we're going to do that, fuck it. We just may as well just launch our own thing. I mean, we have all the content. Maybe we don't really need Netflix. We have enough content to do our own thing.
Yeah. Or maybe they're creating a streaming service to establish a brand identity so that they can just sort of absorb Netflix into it and also drive their price down so they can buy it for cheaper.
Could be. Never know.
I mean, if they grossed how much? 11 billion?
11 billion.
So, basically they can say we'll buy it for 11 billion, what you're worth. And once you take away the debt,
Yeah, but
you
they
owe,
got to
it's
take
like-
the debt.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So it's just like you're worth what you spent, and that 9 billion will so we'll buy it for 11 billion, we'll pay off the $9 billion debt, and we get it for 2 billion.
It's the master plan. Disney goes in, forms their own thing, absorbs Netflix, buys it, takes the $20 billion debt. Now they have Marty Bird on their team.
Right.
Marty Bird goes and
Right.
launders out the fucking $20 billion, and everything's cleaned up. So
Right.
that could be the
Right.
master plan.
Yeah.
Hashtag Ozark. So do you think they actually have a streaming service, or do you think this might have been just a play to say, well, we can get Netflix? Like, so my
Yeah.
thing is, hey, we're gonna get out. We're out Netflix. We're gonna be done. We have our own thing. And Netflix is like, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's work
Yeah.
out a deal. So do you think
yeah.
maybe they don't really have? Because my idea is that if Disney's going to go and make this announcement, they have it in their pocket. It's not one of those things where let's develop a streaming service in 2 years or a year. No, you just don't do that.
Well, the other issue is
I don't think Disney's going to throw 1.58 billion out as a gamble. I don't think they're going to do that.
No, but that's for sports.
That's
related
for sports. I'm talking
content.
about Netflix. I'm talking about having a streaming service for all they're doing with the sports is just redoing the ESPN app.
Well,
that's
yeah.
already made.
but the thing with it is though is that if you own something like that, it seems to me whether it's sports programming or whether it's content streaming, I mean, it's kind of the same basic animal. I mean, in fact, I would imagine that it's probably the reason why BAMTech created this stuff is so you can stream things live. It seems to me that if you want to reverse engineer things to where you're just streaming uploaded content, that's probably a lot easier. And probably those techs and those mathematicians that work for that company probably sits there and says, yeah, Bob, so you want to stream Frozen, or Star Wars or whatever it is. Yeah, man, all you do is just, add this little equation in here, flick a couple of switches, turn this gear like this, and congratulations, you now have a streaming service.
Well, there's a question in my mind now that Netflix and Disney are openly communicating by way of press releases. It sounds like Disney's going much more for the younger kid fare. So if they brand themselves that way, can they bring into the fold all the shit that Netflix has?
Yeah. I think Disney, dude, Disney, that's what people don't relate to it, man, is, dude, they own shit like Touchstone.
Right.
That made R-rated movies. And I mean...
I know, I understand that, but to have that on a Disney channel, you know what I'm saying?
Tier it
ABC.
like Netflix.
Right. I mean, it's ABC. They own ABC, too.
Yeah.
I mean, you could tier it like Netflix. I mean, dude, all you have to do is just have your menu. Yeah, name the thing The Wonderful World of Disney. Well, I mean, everybody knows that Disney, it's so in the press now, man. I mean, even the regular fan knows that Disney owns Star Wars and Marvel. They know. It's kind of a known thing. It's not like you have to be like this kind of deep reading the news fan to understand this shit.
Right.
And all you have to do is make a really snazzy-looking home page, and it's done. I mean, look, Star Wars. Oh, awesome. Star Wars. Cool, dude. I can watch all this Star Wars programming. Marvel, I can watch all this. Disney Channel, Disney XD. It's like Scott said, you could actually theme it by channel, and then have another one that says Disney Original Content. Now, moving on to the creative side of stuff, I just want to throw this in real quick. Mm-hmm. Isn't it interesting now that if they want to produce original content, we are now flooded with Marvel comic book shit all over everywhere.
Yeah.
We have 2 shows on ABC. We have 5 shows on Netflix. We have another show on Freeform. So now we have all of these different live-action television shows. They've been talking for years that they want to do a live-action Star Wars show. Wouldn't it be something if that live-action Star Wars show became one of the centerpieces of original content for their own stream service?
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
That would draw some fucking people in, man.
Hell yeah.
I mean, they already have original content. Like Disney, it's a no-brainer. They take everything from the Disney Channel. That is all their original content.
Well, of course, that's their original content, but I'm talking about streaming exclusive content.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah.
We're coming up with
an
original Star Wars show.
So-
You can only get it on Disney streaming.
Yeah.
Okay, so and that's that. I was gonna go there because you mentioned Frozen 2. I don't know if you remember back in the day, there was no such thing as a sequel to a Disney movie. There were no sequels. It was always
Except Herbie.
Except
Right.
for Herbie, they were always straight to DVD. They were
Right.
I think Toy Story was the first one that went to theater.
Yeah, I think you're right, Scott. Yeah, sequels were always home video fare.
That's what this streaming service is. It's you want to watch Frozen 2, it's going straight to our Netflix, our streaming service. You don't have to go see it in a theater or whatever like that. It's exclusive to that. You want to watch it? $9.95 a month.
If I'm a betting man, though, I think this is what's going to end up happening. If you have Frozen 2 that comes out and you're going to be able to exclusively stream this on Disney's channel, I think the thing with it is that you're not going to see it immediately drop because DVD and Blu-ray sales are still very big for them. And if you notice it, it was Michael Eisner that started the whole release for a limited time, never to return until 7 years later.
Yeah.
Back in the vault.
Back in the vault until, 8 years from now, until you can own it again. And he's the one that started that, and I think they're going to stick to that model. And then once they give that limited window of release, that's when you're going to see it come on, to where they can continue to do that market. I mean, yeah, look, really truthfully, I think that the real attraction to buying this stuff, and they understand it, is the same attraction as buying Netflix or buying Hulu or any of those. The exclusive original content to their streaming service is what's going to be the big draw for this thing. All of the other shit is a la carte. I mean, it's really what it is. You know?
I think two things. First of all, I just realized we're talking about their streaming app for 2019. What a great way to suck people into their streaming app, to say, oh, Frozen 2 isn't in the theaters. It's only on our streaming app. And if you want it, you have to spend whatever, $10 a month, whatever, and join our subscribe to be able to watch it. That, I mean, I would have to pay it because my kid wants to see Frozen 2. But I mean, hey, we're launching this and we're taking one of the most successful movies we've ever done. We're making a sequel to it, the most anticipated sequel. But the only way to get it is to join our streaming service.
Is this your idea, or is this happening?
This is my idea.
It's an idea.
Okay,
but
Frozen 2 is getting theatrically released.
Oh,
correct?
fucking
yeah,
A,
that's
it
what I
is.
thought.
But I'm just
Absolutely.
saying, they're both in 2019. Maybe they don't. Maybe it doesn't get a theatrical release.
It'll get a theatrical release. We're not to the point yet to where the theater has been completely cut out. I mean, theaters.
Well, then it's it's in the theater, and then a month later you can get it.
And
instead of
not only not $10. You can actually get Frozen 2 streamed directly to your TV a month after release for $30.
Yeah.
And that's what that will be.
but
I
I
doubt
to
that's
the service.
I doubt that's going to happen at this point.
And I'm also thinking now that they're not going to buy Netflix. I don't know. I kind of talked myself out of it as we're sitting here talking. I think they have no. I think the deal is
They got no need to.
right. The deal is now they're going to pull, because that's an exclusive thing where their movies go exclusively to Netflix. That was like a deal. So they're just pulling that clause out of their deal. They're allowing their movies to go in there whenever, and they're still going to launch their own service. You might not get to see Rogue One, or I think Rogue One was like instant, something like that. It wasn't that long that it hit Netflix, or even like Doctor Strange that hit Netflix.
Rogue One hit Netflix 2 months ago. So you figure 2 months ago, we're in August. So what? That was July. You're talking 6 months out of theaters.
What about?
It was
I
on Netflix.
want to say it was quick for Doctor Strange. Maybe, I don't know. It just seemed quick that these movies hit Netflix. But my point is, it might take a little longer. It might go to the Disney streaming service first, and then go to
sloppy seconds.
Yeah, everybody else gets it. You get it when I get it.
Yeah,
type of thing.
Which is, I mean, I don't think it would. I think the Netflix drop will correct somewhat. It should go down a little bit, but
my question is, what about the original programming like Daredevil and stuff like that? Does that stay on Netflix?
Well, he just led with that.
I think that's going to stay.
No, I'm saying, does it stay on Netflix?
Oh,
or
I
does
think
it go...
so.
Yeah,
I think so.
Okay.
I think that it will stay on Netflix until eventually it runs its course. If it runs its course and Netflix says, okay, look, the Marvel stuff's over with, they'll run it for a couple of more years maybe, and then after that, Disney's going to be like, all right, well, look, fuck it, we're just taking it back.
Yeah, and with this, it'll be like a legacy offer. Like, you can watch it on the Disney. Because
I kind of feel like I would pay the money for this Disney thing. To be able to go, I want Star Wars. And not even original content. I'm talking about new original content. Just to be able to go, Star Wars. Marvel.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
Scott, I finally understand. Look, I have a 5-year-old girl, okay? I finally understand. This kid has zero interest in watching Star Wars or Marvel. The stuff that she's watching on there are all of these kind of like young adult, not even tween, stuff that's geared toward 9 to 10-year-olds, and all this stuff she's watching, it's all just Disney Channel original programming. And it's shit like Bunked.
Hey, Jesse.
Hey, Jesse, that kind of bullshit is the shit she watches. And that's what it is. So I can tell you, I most certainly will be buying the Disney, because this is what I was told the other day. I was talking to Karen, my fiance, about all this stuff that's going on, and the Bunk Show is kind of this show about these little kids that go off to camp, and the theme song
It's
is
the spin-off to Jesse.
right, Camp Kiki Waka, and they scream Kiki Waka all the time. Well, I told the little one, I said, hey, guess what? Kiki Waka is not coming on Netflix anymore. The little one took that as me canceling the subscription, and I was called mean. You're mean. Why am I mean? I don't have any fucking control over Netflix. I mean, shit. Look, Kiki Waka is going away. It has nothing to do with me. But I guarantee you, I'll be buying the Disney service. It's just a bonus that I have Star Wars and Marvel on it.
That's what I'm sure the missus told you.
Oh, no, I agree with that to begin with. When I looked at it, I was like, well, shit, it's a good thing. I mean, still, I've changed my habits now of watching television to where, like, I'm pretty much watching Netflix and Prime. That's the majority of what I watch. So the thing with it is that if I just throw another measly $10 a month out there, I now have another service that gives this kid everything that she wants to watch.
Oh, yeah.
And dude, if I want Star Wars or if I want Marvel, hey, it's value added for me.
I like to be able to just find it. Like, there's a whole, like, let's just say a whole category, a subcategory just to Marvel. Wow, let me just sit here and be in Marvel for a day. I want to just watch all the movies.
That's what makes it awesome, though. It's not only going to be the movies. It's going to be all the animated shit.
That's my point.
It's going to be all that crap. All of, like, the Ultimate Spider-Man, that's an animated show. They say that show is excellent. You'll have access to that because it's a Disney XD exclusive.
I don't have to go look for it. It's all placed nicely.
What's funny is we've bitched and complained about cable and how it's become archaic and everything. But there's so much amazing stuff, so much bandwidth on so much entertainment coming from so many different sources that before long, it's going to be the same thing, only with streamed content.
Yeah, but the beauty of it,
Starz,
the beauty of it
has
is
American Gods, and I got to watch that. And HBO has Game of Thrones, and I got to watch that.
Right, you do. But you only got to watch it for 6 weeks or 8 weeks. And then it's gone.
Right, okay.
Gone. Next.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with ESPN. And I said we didn't want to get too much into it, but I find that we do have a couple of minutes.
Yep.
I'm just going to throw this without going deep into it. They say there's a lot of stuff, like I noticed that football was not mentioned in this thing at all.
Neither is NBA.
And neither is the NBA. I don't give a fuck about the NBA. But as
as
far as football is concerned, I mean, dude, we live in the South. It's a big sport. If they do have the SEC network, which is an exclusive ESPN channel, and that does happen, and I can watch all the LSU games on streaming, that's what Scott brings up. All right, so you mean to tell me I've only got to pay from September to December? 3 months after it's done, all right, cancel that shit. Game of Thrones comes out, all right, cancel that shit. Watch while you can. It's the same thing with Ash versus Evil Dead. I love that show. If I want to watch that on Starz, it's only 10 episodes a season, so all I need to do is pay for it for 3 months. And I'm good to go.
That. Wait till it rebroadcasts, or just wait for the month. If Game of Thrones wasn't so spoiler intense, I would just wait, let the first 3 episodes play through, and buy HBO for a month, and then just binge them and finish it and done.
Oh yeah, that is true. You could even do it that way to be more
$10.
economical. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, buy it for a month, watch what you want to watch. And that's the beauty of Prime. Prime has the older HBO stuff. That's why I was pleased watching Deadwood. I was like, fuck, dude, I can just jump right on and watch it here. And fantastic. I don't have to worry about any of the other bullshit.
Yeah, Prime is an annual subscription, though. You don't get to do a month on and off.
No, but I get 2-day free shipping, so who
right.
gives a shit?
And my bonus is that I split it with somebody. So because they're more interested in the 2-day shipping than I am. So they're like,
okay.
Yeah, and
That's cool.
I don't count Prime as a video service, even though they are a video service.
They are.
I consider them more of a shopping service.
well, but I mean,
Me
they
too.
got some great shit, man. I went through last night on Prime to like I said,
Doctor Who?
rewatching Deadwood. I went through and I'm flipping through and all that shit. Man, dude, they're playing the fucking Indiana Jones trilogy this month.
I know.
So,
Doctor Who. And they also have it's not Mystery Science Theater 3000, but it's part of the brain trust that created it, and they're putting commentaries on films.
Oh,
I watched
no.
Megaforce. It's pretty damn funny.
Oh, Jesus.
What a film.
That movie's fucking
Holy
horrible.
shit, was that amazingly terrible.
Well, I'm just going to end it off with this before we shut the show down. Look, we all talk about how we're going to cut the cord to save money. Eventually, as time goes on, as time does, and everybody's streaming, if you buy all these services, you're going to be right back to where you were.
Oh, absolutely.
But the good news is you have control
That's it.
over your content. And I promise you, as a result of all this, eventually the internet will get cheaper. It will happen.
Oh, yeah.
Content will keep rising, but your internet service eventually will become cheaper. It's the same thing with telephone companies. As more competition gets out there and more shit is deregulated, there'll be more competition in the internet, and you'll see prices go down.
Okay, so how much are you paying for your cell phone bill now? And how much are you paying for a cable bill now? That follows the law of I can't remember it's like Moore's law or something, where as technology gets more readily available, it becomes cheaper, and yet deregulation results in the exact fucking opposite. And now they've just deregulated the internet, so I disagree. I think we're going to be paying just as much now for.
Well, what I mean by
content.
deregulation is that it's deregulated in the respect that you can allow more competition in, because right now Cox holds the fucking thing. AT&T eventually snuck in under a different program.
Right.
So I think that deregulation in that respect, or at least busting the monopoly, is what becomes a better deal to allow more people to compete. Because, I mean, hey, right now people are buying Google in California, Google Internet Service, for about $15.95 a month. And they say that shit is rocket fucking fast.
As soon as that makes its way around, you'll see it.
And as soon as that shit does its thing, you'll see internet get cheaper. But your streaming services will not be cheaper, because your content is only going to get better. If your content doesn't get better, you fucking cancel it. But for the stuff that's good, they're going to have to increase the price to continue better programming. And honestly, I think it's better. The only people that are going to really get fucked are smaller channels that are on cable, that produce their own shows, shit like the Food Network and crap like that has a chance of getting fucked.
I don't agree with that, but that's another conversation.
Yeah.
Okay, well, look, I will continue that in, because I'm sure as more of this develops, this big bombshell in the streaming world will become more topics as the days go on, the weeks go on here. So, all right. So, what, Scott? We got episode 200 coming up soon, huh?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
We're gonna have to plan to do something special. But hey, if we don't, hey, happy 200 coming up soon.
Happy 200. Happy 3 years, 5 years, 4 years? We're 4 years. We're 4 years
Four?
old.
4 years,
shut
man.
up.
4 years of
old.
this shit. So. All right, well, look, we appreciate you guys listening. Jump over to ppvguys.com. Check out previous episodes. Also, subscribe to us on iTunes. Give us 5 stars. If you're a true fan of Popcorn, Piss, and Vinegar, you can actually write us a review. We'd appreciate it. We're also on YouTube. Do the same there. Thumbs up on the video. Write us a review. Check out Not Real Radio and Scary Thoughts. Thanks for listening. End scene.